Chapter 1. I'm driving. Actually, it's a drive, not a ride. I'm going really very fast. I'm driving not only because I want to make it on time to the studio, but I have a deadline. What the heck is going on? And then there was an echo in my car. And it was my radio was repeating every word I said. So I figured, wow, I better stop smoking in my car. Or it might have been the fact that I bought a couple of Jerry Garcia ties and they caught fire. So I'm driving, and I'm inspired to drive because, like everybody, my life is just a game show. And welcome to Right to Speak with the very lovely Brianna Gravatt.
And
I'm go ahead.
I was going to say, and the ever wonderful Benny Rizzuti.
Thank you.
Sorry, Pellegrino.
The
Rizzuti.
resident madman, Pellegrino.
Yes.
I'm going to bring my baptismal certificate with my feet in ink. That one that
No, what I'm going to do is bring bottles of San Pellegrino next week, and we're going to baptize you again.
Okay, yeah, all right, and I'll put my feet in ink.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
This is Right to Speak, so I'll write hieroglyphics.
Hieroglyphics.
Yeah.
It's a lost language.
So, welcome back. How was your week?
My week was lovely. How was yours?
Mine was very nice. Mine was lovely too.
Yes?
A little hectic.
Yeah, because you made lasagna. No, you made ravioli or lasagna?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I was going to make lasagna. I didn't make
you
it.
lied
But
to
we
me.
had 2 turkeys. I lied to you.
Oh, okay.
And I was exhausted.
Oh, yeah, my mother's going out to Michigan on Thursday, tomorrow. And my nephew, he's 3, he's like, you're going to make lasagna?
Oh,
And
yeah?
his mother was like, no, that's too much for Nona. And she's like, no, it's not.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Should we say that we have an audience member tonight?
I mean, you want to. She's not going to want
We're not going to show her on camera.
She's right over there.
But Brianna's mom is here. It was very lovely to meet her. And so what did you do over the week? Over the weekend, you had like a busy weekend?
We had Thanksgiving.
Right.
And then over the weekend, then I worked. And I mean, I've been writing a lot. And
All right.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What I did do. This is something that
I only know this from Facebook.
Yeah,
so.
I went up to Albany and got my book Mosaic in a few bookstores in the district.
That's
in
great.
the Capital District. So that's what my plan is going to be moving forward.
So you you gave them like a certain amount of copies?
I was able to do that in one bookstore called the Book House, which is in Stuyvesant Plaza in Albany.
Great.
And I was able to, they have 2 books. Maybe they have less books now. Maybe they need more books, which would be fantastic. And then I also dropped it off at a bookstore in Saratoga. And then we also, Chris and I had a little mini adventure, and we talked to these 2 lovely girls. One was working at a Putnam Cafe, something like that. And we were just talking about food and life and everything. And I had my book in my hand. I'm like, here, take this.
Oh,
and she
that's
was
nice.
and then we went to this other boutique, and this other girl just was so lovely and so sweet. And so I was dropping the book off, and therefore I gave her one of my copies of my book.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
that's nice.
so I've been trying to I feel like that's the way to really
And
get
how
it
is
out
it
there.
going on Amazon? Is it selling?
Yeah,
How
I
do you
sold
know
6
about
copies this week.
How many?
No, not 6. 6 copies this month, which is a
Okay.
lot. Which
Yeah,
is
that's
yeah.
good.
I find out. I go on CreateSpace, the website, which is where I printed my book, and it shows me how many people bought it.
And
So-
there's a big deal on if you want it on Kindle.
Yes, $2.99.
$2.99, and if you don't have a Kindle, right? You could be a cheap guy like me, and you can download a free app from Amazon to your laptop or your computer, and you can read it on that.
Yeah, no,
if you don't.
absolutely. You can actually
Yeah.
read the whole book, especially
But
if Kindle Select or something like that, right?
I don't know.
Something like that. But
I don't-
but if you guys follow me on social media, on Friday, I'm giving it away already. I'm doing a free book Friday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
I'm gonna ask a question, and whatever answer I like the best,
Wow, that's
I
great.
will send somebody a free book, no
And
matter
it-
where they live in the world.
It's an amazing book. No matter where you live in the
No
world.
matter
that's
where you live in the
great.
world, even if
If
you
you-
live in Timbuktu.
Even if you're like on the run, on the prison, witness protection
I mean, if you're on the
program.
lam, I will go with you. I mean, I would love to be a criminal. Wouldn't you love to be a criminal?
I don't know.
No, I mean like
I
not
don't
like
know.
not like a dangerous criminal, not like somebody that
But
like.
even any criminal, you have to be afraid to open the door. You know, maybe you're going for a loaf of bread and you get picked up by the police for something you did 30
Yeah, but
years.
if you're like a smooth criminal,
There are no smooth criminals, just like there are
Michael
no.
Jackson was a smooth criminal.
And I'm glad you brought that up
Why is that?
because we have a guest calling in like 5 minutes or so.
Yes.
And my friend Greg Kritikos, aka Greg the Greek, and he is going to talk about tonight. He's premiering his animated feature, which is Witless Protection Program. Witless Protection.
Yes.
He's been working on it a long time. It looks really good. I mentioned last week it's
premiering at 8 o'clock tonight, right?
8 o'clock
and
tonight
there's
in
in
Queens.
Queens, yes.
Yes.
And so you were
And he's
telling
our sponsor.
Yes.
By the way, yes.
We have a fabulous sponsor, and
We
he'll be
do.
calling us hopefully very soon.
And we have more
before-
sponsors coming, which
Yes.
we'll talk about in future
And if you guys
shows.
want to sponsor our show, that's even better.
Give you a good deal. Look, we'll give you a good deal. Look on Right to Speak, our fan page on Facebook, Right to Speak, or you can either contact Brianna or myself.
Yes.
She'll contact me if you contact her.
Yes, very
and
true.
you can contact me, Benny Rizzuti, Benny Gagoots, I think it's
Benny Gagoots, is that what
yeah,
it is?
That's my nickname,
Oh,
Benny
okay.
Rizzuti, but it's got a nickname.
You have
Benny.
so many nicknames. I don't have that
I'm-
many nicknames.
I'm known by many names. I never drink wine.
He
No,
loves
dude.
vampires, this man. I
Yeah.
think that he
We're
loves
gonna talk
vampires
about- all right.
more than I love vampires.
No, I got away from it. I wrote the
No,
book.
you
I
never
got it
get
out
away
of my
from
system.
vampires.
I know. Every time I think I'm out, they pull me back in. Michael Corleone from The Godfather Part 3.
See, you want to be a criminal. I think you're
But they-
lying to me, Benny. I think you really
no,
want
no,
to
no,
be.
no.
Fine,
Because
then not a
you always
criminal.
get
Maybe
caught.
like-
Criminals get,
You know, once again.
very honest family. I mean, I'm a bad liar. I see, and I blame my mom for that.
Yeah, but you can be a criminal that doesn't lie. Like, you don't have to lie to people. You can tell
do
people you
have
are a
to
criminal.
lie.
No, you don't. You have to lie to the police, but I mean, come on. Oh, here he's
Oh,
calling
all right.
us.
Here's our witness. Hi. Hello there. You're calling in on Right to Speak with Brianna Gavad and myself. Who are we talking to?
You're talking to Greg Kritikos, my friend.
Greg Kritikos. How you
Benny,
doing,
it's
buddy?
you.
Are you
How are you,
excited?
my-
Are you excited?
I'm super excited. Yes, we're about to kick off 8 o'clock. We're screening the cartoon. I have a great lineup. I got Laura Spate. She's hosting. Ray Goots is going to be opening. And Janice Massetti, and along with Mr. Jim Mandrinos. So I got the cast of the cartoon performing tonight.
That is great.
That is
That's-
so cool.
I wish we could make it, but when this ends, you're gonna start. So you're gonna
Right.
you're gonna show the cartoon, and then you're gonna have the comedy show.
Yeah, we're gonna open up with the cartoon. We're gonna screen the intro, and then from there the first episode, and then from there we're gonna go into comedy.
That's awesome. So you had a lot of episodes before this one as well, right? This is just the iteration of it now.
Right. Yeah, we have actually like 3-4 episodes already.
Okay.
I've written with Jimmy together with Mike 8 episodes, and we're leaving the last 2 open because we're gonna get a household name part of this. We have a couple of celebrities out there that are interested.
Oh, that's really cool. Now I have a question for you. Since it's a cartoon, is your voice going on it? Because your voice is awesome.
Oh, thank you. Absolutely. Yes, I'm actually doing 5 voices
Nice.
on the first episode. Yes, and Mike Rockowitz is also doing voiceovers. He worked with Marvel Comics with Stan Lee. He was a young editor back in the 90s, and he's the artist. And Will Branca from Ren and Stimpy is my animator.
That's amazing. So what network are you guys going to be on? Can you let us know? Can you give us a little more information?
What network?
Yes.
Well, right now we are talking. I'm personally handling that, so I'm not really in liberty to talk yet. I don't want to say anything yet until it's 100%.
Okay.
But we have there are showrunners out there that are showing big interest.
That's amazing. You must be so excited about this to actually see this
Yes.
come into being.
I'm very excited because having a team. I'm really blessed to have a team of some great people around me, And I worked at, I've been working on it since 2013. Benny remembers when I spoke to him about it. So, watching this, coming to life is really a blessing, and it's, I'm really excited.
I want to ask you about that. In 2013, when I first met you, and I saw a clip, it was a completely different clip of what your show is now.
Yes. That was the animator that I was using from Washington State of Washington. Kiriako is his name. He was following me around when I was doing comedy out there, Benny.
Yeah.
And,
like stalking
he said to
you or
me,
following you around?
Love your voice, and I found out he was a cartoonist. So we started working on it. I got the storyline, the storyboard together with him, witness protection program and all that. Unfortunately, the speed of the cartoon, he wasn't able to get it to where I really needed it,
Right.
to turn it into a pro. So, and we didn't have funding back then, which is huge. Today we have funding. I have executive producers aboard.
That's great. I could see that. I mean, I think it's great that you, in what I saw in 2013, I enjoyed, but now the quality, you can see the production value of this.
Right.
I only saw the trailer, but the production
I know,
value
I
is
can't
great.
wait it's going to be really exciting when we actually put it all together. Like I said, 10 episodes, and we're right now we're working on the third and fourth, and the writing, like I said, we have up to the 8. We're leaving the last 2 for a major cliffhanger, but each episode has a cliffhanger in it. So that way they're all connected, Benny.
And you have a talented crew because Janice Masidi, I've done shows with both of you, and she is hilarious. She's a real pro. So having her on the cartoon, Laura, I've seen Laura on some internet shows. Very funny. You have a very talented group. But you're a talented guy. You really are.
Thank you. Laura and I worked. Laura actually opened up for me when I did People the Suspect show at Broadway Comedy Club. So she's pretty, she's well known in the story. And she does voiceovers, actually. She's also a playwright. So it's exciting to have her aboard, working together and all that stuff.
That's really.
All right.
Now, how long have you've always been a comedian first or a voiceover? Like, where did you enter the industry?
I was in the industry 24 years ago. I was getting some parts. I was getting callbacks from Comedy Central. I was also in Law and Order. I was getting some roles, and I got edited out of Bronx Tale because my drinking and my drugging was more important. So I'm sober now, going on 6.5 years, 7.
That's
Okay.
Congratulations. I knew about that, but
That's amazing.
I know you did.
And you know what? Now it's my not a favorite movie of mine anymore since you're not in it. I bet you would still open the door for any woman that you go out with, though. Or you'd wait for her to unlock the door for you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I haven't met you in person yet, but it's a pleasure to hear your voice.
It's a pleasure to hear your voice,
Benny,
too.
Benny, you don't even introduce us, Benny. What is this?
I'm supposed to stay away from Greeks, Greg. I'm very, very sorry.
Beware of Greeks bearing gifts. No, Greg.
Beware of grit, yeah. And wooden horses, Benny. Be careful.
You're at a new club in Astoria. So,
yes, it's a brand new club, and today we're actually, we're kicking off, like I said.
Right.
And it's called Beans and Lager, and it's on 33rd Street and 36th Avenue in the heart of, right in the middle, smack in the middle of Long Island City and Astoria.
yeah.
So we're really excited. It's got a brand new stage, brand new lighting, brand new sound system. So I'm hoping to turn this into the number one comedy.
Astoria is a great, yeah.
So so tonight is the night that.
You cut out a little bit.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's all right. I want to say something, though. I want to say that I'll come down and do the show one night, and I'll bring Brianna along with me.
Absolutely. Bring her down. It'd be a pleasure to meet her in person.
It would be a pleasure to meet you, too. We wish you nothing but luck tonight.
We do. And I want to know, is there parking in this club?
Yeah. Actually, it's wide open.
You know why I brought that up, right?
1 second. I'm sorry.
He probably forgets. It was
Did
4
you
years
hear me?
ago. He's
He's
got, yeah.
talking to somebody. He's got things going on. He's busy.
Well,
he's a busy man.
he's premiering his show.
No,
He's
I'm
been
sorry.
working
I
on
was
for
just
4
talking
years.
to a friend of mine. We're actually driving to the venue right now.
Oh,
But,
okay.
I'm sorry. What was your question, Benny?
My question is about parking, and I want.
Oh, yeah. Plenty of parking around the
Do-
venue. There's plenty of parking.
Do you know why
36th Avenue.
You remember why I asked you about the parking?
Yeah.
I'm only kidding.
I'm sorry. My driver's driving. He says to me, I can't see at nighttime, and he's driving right now. So this is comedy right here.
Oh, you're in the car. So you have a blind
I'm in the car,
chauffeur?
he says to me, Greg, I got problems driving at nighttime. I can't see. So my life and Laura's life right now is in this guy's hands.
Yeah. So I just want to say that this big budget, maybe you should have spent some money on a chauffeur who wasn't blind.
I know. You're 100% right, Benny. I gotta,
When your driver
Okay.
brings a dog in with blinders on the side, okay, you know that it's time for another driver. Anyway, Greg, if Brianna wants to say anything, we're talking with Greg Kritikos, who is premiering his cartoon tonight and Witless Protection Program at something in Lager. You remember the name of the company?
Beans and Lager.
Beans and Lager. So,
Yeah.
Greg Kritikos, Greg, thank you for calling. Brianna, do you want to say?
No, I'm just looking forward to seeing the show, and I can't wait. I wish you nothing but luck tonight, and I think that's just going to be awesome. And I can't wait to know what goes on with the rest of the season with it.
Absolutely. So this is Strong Island Television, right, Benny? Is that
Yes,
what you're
Strong
doing out there?
Island Radio and Television.com, and you can get us live right now on Facebook.
Well, I'm
And-
glad, and I want to thank you and Brianna, and thank all your fans and all the friends that are tuning in right now. I'm super excited, and I can't wait to have you guys, meet you guys in person. Obviously, Benny said this time around. Come back. Last time we did a show, I remember you got angry. There was no parking, and you went bananas. So the parking is still there. Yeah, you're still holding resentments, Benny.
Greg, he talked about it before we even went on. He goes, "I got a story for you." I'm like, "Benny, you always got a story for me."
But you called me, you were right, because you said to me, Benny, these people were standing in the parking spot because they drove all the way from Florida to Queens, so stop being a miserable bastard. And that was good advice. Greg, I
All
love
right.
you. I love you. Break a
Thank
leg
you so
tonight.
much, man.
Break a leg.
Absolutely.
Best.
And, thank you very much. Thank you, Brianna. Have a
Thank
good
you,
night.
Greg. Have a good night. I'm
Good
waving
night, buddy.
at him like as if he's there and like, see you later.
Yeah, right. He didn't Skype, which is good. We have a little trouble with Skype.
No, yeah, because there's that delay, but that's awesome.
That is awesome. I'm very excited for him. And like I said, I saw the original cartoon, and this one. Not to put anything down, but in 3 years he did what many writers do. He took the story, he refined it, and then he got another animator,
Right.
who from Ren and Stimpy. So it looks very Ren. And
Yeah.
I was watching the trailer with a friend from work, and he was like, "That reminds me of Ren and Stimpy." He said because the stretched arms
And there's
the
probably
different-
so many people that miss Ren and Stimpy too. But like going back to what you said about like writers like revising and stuff like that, I'm always revising, aren't you?
Yes, and as a matter of fact, last night I went and opened up the old files of Last of the Fangtooth Bastards, and within a week or so, I'm going to give you book 1. It's in 4 books, but it was meant to be a novel.
But it's okay.
4 books, so it's I can't remember the 4th one for some reason. I couldn't find it because I have it on floppy disk. That is some of it.
Do you
Some
still
of
have a
it.
computer that uses a floppy disk?
Yes.
You,
And this one-
still have a computer that
but
uses
I don't
a floppy
use it.
How would you even have that?
I don't use it. It's
You're like sitting
unplugged.
there with your
I'm
Apple IIs.
hoarding
Yes,
it.
you're playing Oregon Trail, aren't you?
No,
You
I don't.
absolutely are. You're
I don't
sitting-
use it. I have a laptop that's up to date with flash drives.
Okay.
Okay.
I know
but-
you said you're like a really bad liar, but I think you're lying.
No, I'm not lying. I'm telling you the truth. But anyway, I went on and I'm going to make this another quick revision on it. Just go over everything, and you will have book 1.
I'm so
When
excited.
okay, and you can read it.
And for all of our writers out there, not for anything, but there is absolutely no such thing as a quick revision. So Benny's sitting there and telling me that he's like, "Oh, I'm going to do it."
No,
Like,
I'm going
meanwhile,
to-
when did you start this book? How long ago?
It's done.
No, it's done.
but-
Yeah. But when
oh,
did you begin it? How many years ago?
A very long time ago.
So it's been marinating for all this time.
Yeah, but I have revised it. Like a year and a half ago, somebody had found out about it on Facebook, a comedian.
Right.
And he said, I heard you wrote a vampire novel, blah. Somebody told me it was. So I don't know how there's a underground copy around. But years ago, I used to send copies to people to get their feedback.
Right.
And so he said, I heard that you wrote this vampire novel. And why don't you read it? So whenever I would write one of my clever quips on Facebook,
Right.
he would write, like, enough of this... enough messing around. Let's see the vampire novel. So I put together a preview, and I went to an open mic, not this summer, but the summer before, and I read the preview.
Okay.
To great response.
And so
it's the book one is pretty good. When I say revise, I'm just changing
Well,
a couple of
I
things.
can't wait to read it. But like going on what you were saying before about like, I've had experiences where like I've asked people to read things and then they don't respond. They don't tell you if they liked it, if they didn't like it, if they enjoyed it, if they hated it. And so like you're just sitting there with like a cliffhanger and just being like, okay, well, like, are we gonna be friends anymore? Like, do you not like me as a person? So I don't like. That's what I don't understand. Like, if I'm sending you something, like when you send me your book, I want to read it and say, Benny, this is what I think about it.
And I want your honest opinion.
But there are people out there that like, are they stealing what you're writing? If they're not going to like, are they getting ideas from you? Are they thinking that you haven't done the necessary work to copyright your work? Like, or you know what I mean? So like, do you ever run into that?
Yeah, but I don't think of that, because I feel if the people I'm sending it to,
right?
That but I've gotten responses from people.
Okay.
Right? So, but some people, I feel that most real writers, they won't really steal from you unless they're desperate, because just like people who steal jokes, I've done a lot of joke writing and written, and there were people out there you'd be amazed who stole jokes.
So did they say that there was a very famous female Long Island comedian that stole a lot of other women's jokes? I think so.
I don't know. Yeah.
That
I know some male. I don't know the female. I know male.
No, I mean, like, I think a lot of people, in terms of creativity, we all have influences, we all have muses, we want to talk about this evening is inspiration and our drive and stuff. But there's inspiration and there's influence and then there's like downright thievery.
Right.
And like most people don't experience that thieving part of it. Unless you're a criminal like I am. Stole everybody's.
Well, Francis Coppola said if you're going to steal from the best.
But I thought Picasso said that. And then after Picasso said it, then Coppola said it, and then afterwards Banksy
Coppola said
it.
He heard it from his father.
Yeah.
So, so, I feel in a way, though, when they tell you they're stealing, they're not really stealing. It is like an influence because Coppola's saying he stole for the Sonny Corleone gets shot. Right. He stole that from Bonnie and Clyde. Because you see Bonnie and Clyde get shot up with all the bullets on.
Yeah, but that was like the saddest part ever. You're like, no, don't stop. And then he does. And then you're like, what's going to happen? Like, how are you going to have a Godfather 2?
All right, but you're not looking at it as theft. Well,
no.
You can look at scenes from movies. You can sometimes even read, but in a book you have to be careful. In a written story, you have to be careful that it's not a lift. Because I feel that there are innovators and there's imitators in any art form.
Absolutely.
Innovators and imitators. So you don't want to really imitate. You want to innovate. But writing a vampire novel, I told you when I met the curator of the Count Dracula Museum in Manhattan, I explained to her that I felt a vampire novel is like making a chocolate cake because there were so many of them out there. So it's like, and I dispel some myths because I have vampire hunters who have been studying for hundreds of years about.
In your book, or vampire hunters?
No.
So you don't know any vampire hunters?
I do, though.
Okay, good. Because I was going to actually leave.
I do know them because I do know them because I've lived with them. Because I've lived with them on paper.
That's a good way of looking at it. You live with your characters on paper.
On paper. And I actually wrote a handbook from those vampire hunters. As I explained, I'll make this real quick. In the 17th century, during the bubonic plague, in England, there were these men of science.
Bubonic plague was a lot earlier than that.
1640-something. was the Great Fire of London.
Yes.
Which killed off the bubonic plague. There was a black plague.
Yeah, yeah.
That was much
Oh,
earlier.
okay. I thought there was that. I thought there was that. Are you
Can't
sure it was
fool me.
16? You sure?
In the 1600s.
Okay. I'm gonna have to find a historian.
I gave you the 1642
Yeah.
but it's 1600s. The Great Fire of London ended the plague.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway, during the
I thought
bubonic,
England was a plague. I'm just kidding.
What?
I'm kidding.
this one's giving me a hard time here.
I'm not giving you a hard time at all. All right. So anyway, so that happened. So then it's.
If she didn't, she looks so sweet. She's like those cartoon characters.
My
that-
mother is right here. She will attest that I am very, very, very far from sweet.
I know. You're like Bugs Bunny. Like, ain't I a stinker? That's what you're like. Yeah. So.
I'm going to take that as a compliment, Benny.
Okay,
I am going
good.
to, I've never been likened to Bugs Bunny, but I'm up for
Brianna
it.
Bunny.
Yeah, no, that's weird.
No, because I didn't say it in a.
No, I'm just saying, it's just.
There's Lola Bunny. There's Lola Bunny, Bug's girlfriend.
Yes.
From Space Jam.
Oh my God, Space Jam! I love
Yeah.
that movie.
Okay.
I still listen to. Okay.
We're
Anyway,
wandering. We're wandering off.
I'm just singing like if you hit
all
him
right.
high, hit him high. Sorry.
So I talked about the. Okay, I dispel some of the myths
Okay.
of it, like that you have to invite a vampire into your home.
Vampires are
Yeah.
always invited into
They
my
have to-
home, just so we're clear.
They have to be invited into your home. So I dispel that. I dispel the garlic, because I say what good would garlic do against an Italian vampire? Really, they cook everything with it. So there's no
Italian vampires are not eating food anymore unless they're like.
right. They drink. I know,
Yeah.
but this group were known as the Sekva, which
Okay.
is secret eternal collective who hunt vampiric atrocities.
Okay.
Okay.
That's like pretty complicated for a.
SECHVA.
Was
That's
this like
part
a
of
secret society, or did people know they're like, oh, those are Svedkas over there?
Sekva.
Sekva.
It's a secret society,
Okay.
and as I explained, which I was about to explain before, and we got sidetracked.
You brought up Space Jam. How am I
We
not
got
supposed?
sidetracked.
Like seriously, guys, how am I supposed to not be excited
Because I
about
called you
Space
Bugs
Jam?
Bunny.
Like if Michael Jordan was here, that'd be even better right now.
Space Jam was my son's first movie. He was 2 years old
Right.
in his diapers. And I took him, I sat in the front row, and there was a space like this table here, you
Right.
know, how movie theater, and he danced for 80 minutes or whatever. He just danced. Bugs Bunny, yeah, and he was dancing.
That's
And I
awesome.
enjoyed the movie.
I'm gonna
I
start calling you a
enjoyed it, and it was his
monster.
first movie. And it was cheap then because he paid child price.
Yeah.
Then he went to a video game, but since he was only 2, he's like hitting the button and he thought he was playing.
That's
So I'm
funny.
like, Ryan, the movie's going to start. Dad, I'm not finished with the game. So, you know. So
That's
then-
awesome. So okay, so keep on
So-
going with the.
Okay. So I dispel the myths
Okay.
of, and I say there's no use even speaking about what a cross would do with an atheist vampire. So this
is
secret
like a really funny book.
I wanted, my original goal was to make it as funny as it was scary,
Okay.
but I had trouble being able to, it was like, I'm not as funny. Let's say maybe I'm sarcastic.
Right.
It's sarcastic, but
But you can convey
but
sarcasm in literature.
yes. Yeah, no, and it's more sarcastic than it is actually humorous.
Okay.
And then I get serious with with some of what's going on. I
Okay.
really take the vampire part seriously.
I take
But
the vampire
different,
part
but-
seriously too, so I
but-
can't wait for you to send this
But
to me.
different. It's not like, don't expect it to be like Twilight. It's not like Twilight.
Said I don't expect any book to be like Twilight.
I
did
never
read.
read-
No, are you kidding me? I read all of them.
You did?
I
huh?
did. I actually I read them and I not that I enjoy, I just love a good vampire story. Like I love the idea of vampires, and I love the idea that you have people are probably at home rolling their eyes right now, like is this girl really saying she loves vampires?
But people.
But I
if-
just like that. I like the idea of myth. I love the idea of myth as a. Whenever we create stories, we're
Yeah.
creating a myth.
It was
Whether
a
it's
lot
a
of
vampire
research.
or you're talking about your heroes or you're on adventures and you're doing like whatever you're doing, you're writing down a myth. You're telling a
Right.
story. So like whether it's vampires or anything else like that, you're still.
It was fun to
Yeah.
write. It was a lot of research, and I wrote a Sekva handbook.
Okay.
Okay, so I wrote a handbook about their studies.
Not to be confused with Fantastical Beasts and Where to Find Them, guys.
No, because the handbook, there's excerpts of the handbook in the novel.
Okay.
All right, at a certain part.
I'm so excited to read this.
Yeah,
Can you
you
send
will.
this to
You
me
will.
tonight?
You will. It won't. What?
Can you send this to me tonight?
No, I told you a couple of days I need. This is my goal for the weekend.
Fine.
Is to finish Mosaic, which you could show it up there. Finish the book Mosaic. I'm not finished reading it. I'm going to send my review. I'm going to send my review to Amazon.
Oh, I thank you.
But I still love it. Here it is. It's available on Amazon. And Friday is free book day.
Yes, Friday free book day. So if
But
you
I think you should spend money. I think you should really give Brianna the money for it. It's well worth it. It's a wonderful book.
No, I worked really, really hard on it. I mean, my mom is here and she could attest that I was writing it every day and just being like, how does this sentence sound? How does this sound? You know? And I think that people, yes, I would love to make money off of this. I would love to. I mean, I'm never going to stop being a fitness instructor because I love doing that as well.
Yeah.
But I would love to make this also the way I make a living. But at the same time, if someone knows that writing, books, literature, the arts in general, like you have comedy. Comedy is
Right.
not your back pocket. Comedy's right here in your heart. You know, for me, like books are in my heart.
Yeah,
So if someone's
same
sitting
with
there and
me.
saying like, you know what, like, if I can give someone a free book like I did those two young girls over the weekend, like and that changes their life or that affects them in one way or another, or they just go out there and pay it forward in another way, why not?
Oh, that's a great thing.
You
No,
know,
I would do the same thing.
So it's like yes, there is that money aspect of it, but let's be fair, like even if you bought my book, I'm not making a tremendous amount of money off it just yet. Unless
Yeah.
someone reads it and is like, oh, you know, like we're not going to make a animated series like Greg Criticos would do, but maybe we'd want to make it into a screenplay or something, you know. But
I really, I'm in all honesty, if I just liked the book, if I didn't, I would just say, oh, it's a great book, you should buy it. I love this book. I compare it. I think of other authors' memoirs of several people that really made an impact that I liked, and that was I mentioned before last time, Lillian Hellman, the playwright Lillian Hellman,
Yes.
who wrote Pentimento, and Francis Coppola's wife wrote she kept a journal during Apocalypse Now, and it was called Notes by Eleanor Coppola.
wow,
And I really liked it. It was
that's
just
probably really intense.
It is. It's just a very clean, right? And talking about, being the wife of this director who he went bonkers over in the Philippines to make this movie.
I mean, the movie
he
is
sunk everything.
Yeah,
into,
but I think that's what it
So
comes
it's-
down to is that's what you do when you really
and it's
when
how
you love
she
something.
keeps, and how she keeps the
not
nucleus
even
of the
about-
family
yeah.
together.
But that's the whole thing, though, is that like she's doing that and she's talking about that, and I think that when you pursue a passion, you are willing to put everything into it because you believe in it so much.
And she kept a journal,
Mm-hmm.
which was great, and it's it's an amazing journal. It really is, and you can still find it. I believe she wrote another, like a sequel to it, another notes, but it was so good that she showed it to her husband, and he's the one that told her to publish it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she's also the wife of Francis Coppola, so therefore it probably was very.
But that doesn't always,
Yes, it does. Are you kidding me? There are so many people out there with so many books, and it's like, don't get me wrong, they're obviously putting the work in to write a novel and stuff like that. But are they're it's just different. It's different. If you know someone, you're more likely to get a helping hand.
Yeah, you get some.
I started
didn't
my
get
own
the breaks, right?
No, but I started my own publishing company because I sent my book out to at least 40 to 50 people, and I'm still waiting on responses from some of these agents and these agencies and these publishing companies, and some of them don't even respond. They're like, "Oh, due to the amount of submissions, we might not get back to you."
Well, you get a form letter. Sometimes you get.
I don't mind the form letter. I don't. It's like
But you get a form letter that it says someone, an editor may have read this, and it just as straight.
Or you get the one that's like, oh, this is not something we're interested in at the time, and so I got a lot of rejection letters.
Right. Yeah.
And so I was like, I'd rather just have my own publishing company.
That's great if it works for you. There are other authors who did self-publish.
Yeah.
And have done very well.
No, absolutely, and I hope to be
sometimes
one
it
of them.
ta-
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
No.
I think you will. I think you're on your way.
I think that but it does take time. I think that a lot of people, we live in this such a technologically advanced world that we think that everything happens suddenly. And we forget that, you have to babble before you actually learn how to speak. And then you're speaking for years before you even begin to write. And then you're writing for years before you actually, don't misspell a word.
Oh,
So-
I misspell words.
Oh, I do all the time too. I'm just like, and then sometimes I put a U in color because I think it looks prettier. Why not, right?
Yeah.
So we wanted to talk tonight about our inspirations. We
About
wanted to talk about our
Inspiration
influences.
and
Yeah.
drive,
Yeah.
right? And so, first you tell me about drive. Well,
I'm a terrible driver.
you are. Huh? That's why you have a Jeep?
No, I have a Jeep because I'm a Jeep girl. I
Yeah,
love,
you
I
seem
love
like a
Jeeps.
Jeep
Yeah,
girl.
I love Jeeps. I'm shamelessly plugging that my car. But my drive. I think it came honestly when I first learned how to read. I knew from when I was 4 years old, I was gonna be a writer.
You were going to be a
I
writer.
knew when I was 4 years old, I knew that was what gift I was given in this world, and that
Wow,
was what I
that's
was
great.
set out to do. So then, like all people in this world, we're you look at the gift and you're like, still gonna be there in a little while. So I pursued sports. And I was like, okay, I'm an athlete. Then I pursued the fitness industry. So that to me was always it was what I hid behind instead of telling people I was a writer. And then I get easily distracted by other things, and I allowed those things to distract me as well. And now I am at that point in my life that there's a quote. I don't know if I brought this up last week. As badly as I need to breathe. Did I talk about this last week?
No, I don't believe
okay,
you
did. One of my dearest friends, Nina, sent me this this video. This is a voiceover of this man, and he's talking about wanting something as badly as you need to breathe.
Yes.
And so when I think of writing, when I think of pursuing this art in my life, I think about it in terms of how badly I need to breathe and how important that breath is to my life.
Wow,
And
that's great.
And without that breath, writing to me is breathing. Writing to me is my way of telling, not my story, because I have a story, but we all have experiences. We all have things to share. But if I can breathe more life into this life, if I can breathe more awareness into certain things, then that's what we're after, So I'm influenced by all the other people that have done that before. I'm influenced by people and traveling. Traveling is something that
right.
has created, I went away for 5 months, not because I'm a criminal and I went to Sing Sing or anything.
You keep bringing that up.
I
though.
want to be a criminal. I don't understand. I would love to be, a criminal.
Like on the
Yeah,
Sting wrote a song. I don't remember what album it was on, but about a friend of his from
Right.
England who retired, and he wanted to come to New York and become a criminal.
Yeah,
and
I'm
live
just
the
talking
life of a criminal.
being very Robin Hood about it, robbing from the rich, and not robbing people's houses specifically or something, but just I don't know.
How can you differentiate? Yeah, you better think this out first.
Well, yeah, I probably shouldn't
Sometimes
tell the world that
I think you're looking at it as romantically.
Yeah, I'm romanticizing
You're romanticizing
criminality.
about
Absolutely.
criminality, right?
Absolutely.
And you'll be one of those people who has the paintings, Francesca Goya. Oh, it's only a print. It's
Yeah,
not
but
real.
did you ever see the Thomas Crown Affair?
Long time ago.
Yeah, the one with Pierce Brosnan and Rene Russo.
Right.
That I would love to be
Stealing diamonds and
Yeah,
and know what
diamonds and
you have to know what you're doing. You have to know how to get around heat sensors.
Yeah, or what is it? How to Steal a Million, or what's the one with Doris Day and it's an old black and white movie. Is it Doris Day? She the Capo girl, where they stay at a really fancy French resort. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't know. No.
Oh, see, these are the influences.
But there's
no.
okay, yeah.
And then meanwhile, I write all the things that I write about.
But
is
you say that,
the
but
world
then
is
you
a
write-
beautiful place. Let's all be kind to one another.
Mosaic is not The World is a Beautiful Place.
No.
Mosaic it's a wonderful book though. I'm like I said, I'm not finished with it. So, but I love it more. The more I did, I was hoping to finish it last weekend, but the more I read, the more I really like the book.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Okay, now with Drive there were a couple of things. There's the drive of wanting to be a writer.
Yes.
And then there's the drive of actually putting your ideas on paper.
Yeah, because anybody can say they want to be a writer, like just like I'm saying I want to be a criminal. Like, it doesn't mean that I'm actually going to be a criminal unless someone's hiring.
But
no, but the drive of actually doing it.
See the movie Baby Driver.
Okay.
Okay, see the movie because he's a driver. He's a getaway driver.
Okay.
For these people, and he was in a car accident, so he has a buzz in his head. So the soundtrack is what he's listening to through the whole thing.
Okay.
To keep the buzz out, he plays music.
Okay.
So he plays music, and
so I will have to watch it.
Watch Baby Driver because he's a guy that he thinks he's innocent.
Mm-hmm.
But you get involved.
Oh no,
Even
you
if you
absolutely
think you're
always,
innocent,
yeah, you always get involved.
You know, in all those stories, really, there isn't a happy ending for being a criminal.
I mean, there's no happy ending in this life either. You just
but you know.
But
I don't want to be Sonny Corleone on the Causeway.
I mean, after I don't know, I'm romanticizing it again.
Yeah, you're.
Anyway, so going back to the whole.
But this will most likely become a story or a novel one day of a woman who decides to become a criminal.
Yeah.
That's most likely what that will.
It might, you know, she might be fed up with her regular life and whatever. Anyway, so back to what we were talking about before with what actually makes you sit there and say, okay, I'm not only saying I'm going to be a writer, but I'm actually going to write. I'm actually
write
going
it
to
down.
sit down. And because that's what you have to do. You have to sit down.
Right.
You have to sit down and you have to sit with it. And I think that what it comes down to is that when I started writing, which was, you know, I wrote a lot of papers in college. I wrote a lot in my journal. I have journal after journal after journal of just my questions about the world. And then when it actually started to make more sense to me, that's when I started to be more serious about writing. But then what happened was that I went to graduate school and I had to take my writing very seriously because I was paying a lot of money to go to really and to learn so much about things that were important to me.
Right.
You know, to learn and to articulate why these things were important to me and what learning about them meant beyond that. You know, so that's when I came across Maria Sharapova, who is the curator and writer behind Brain Pickings. And until I read a lot of what she presents to the world on a daily basis, she's so beautiful and wonderful, and she's so intelligent and well written and well spoken. And it took me up until reading her to realize that writing is no different than anything else that you do every day. It's work, it's practice. Right. So I took what I did as an athlete and went to practice every day, and I did the same thing with writing. I said if I'm able to practice sports for 3 or 4 hours a day or 2 or 3 hours a day, why can't I do the same for writing?
Yeah.
So right. It's the same thing. Life is just practice.
It is. Life is practice.
Yeah.
And the one thing I learned when I got involved in comedy was I always thought you sit and you write on paper and that's writing. But what you say is writing. What you speak. So with comedians who write jokes, they'll just say a joke to you and they'll be like, I wrote it. Yeah. They didn't put it on paper yet, but they wrote it. And at first, so my friend, who I will call Dave Id.
Dave Id, that's his
Dave
last name.
Id was a comedian, headliner on the island. I learned a lot because we would talk, and we'd be talking, and we'd be done with the story, and he would say, I just wrote that. And right. I always thought, you know, I'm sitting here, and when I'm done, I will read what I wrote. But writing is how you speak, and I feel that's how you develop a voice and style.
But I think writing is also the conversations you have as well.
Yes.
And how they influence you and what you learn from the stories other people tell. So, you know, like you can hear, you know, sometimes I have conversations like, oh, I'm stealing that line. You know, when you tell it though, you say it right away. But like, I think that's the whole thing. It's like, yeah, I just wrote that. I think that's something that's important as well, that yes, it's important to sit. But it's also, writing is a verb just like anything else. It's an action. It's something that you know, you're always writing. And like we talked about before, like you're letting the Tales of the Fangtooth Vampire Hunter, you know, like that's been marinating with you for years.
Right, it's been marinating, and I like every time I, you know, I'm away from it. Yeah, but what happened, I used to write a lot more.
Okay.
And then when we bought a home about 14 years ago, but before that we rented or we had a co-op.
Right.
So there was people doing all the other work. I would just look and say, oh, that needs to be painted.
Right.
Oh, yeah, got to shovel snow today, you know, and I didn't have to do it.
Yeah, but the whole
So
thing
now
is
that
that
I own a home, that some of my time was limited for writing. So
But I'm going to argue against that because I go for walks every day, and or I drive or anything else like that, and I find that shoveling snow is the perfect opportunity to go over in your head all the things that you want to talk about, all the things that you want to write about, all the things that you want to
right. I'll agree with
yeah.
that. I
So
agree
like the stress involved with actually having to do the task is different because obviously you want to get it done.
It's the time, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The time,
But you can use that to double advantage. Not saying multitask.
No, and you're absolutely right because I have like this notebook doesn't, but if you look at I have old notebooks, you'll see you might see a title.
Yeah.
Like Laughter in Corridor 13, and then you'll see little words and things that won't make any sense to you.
Yeah.
But that's one of my stories, and that's the outline that I understand.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and so in my head are files. There are files in my head, and of certain stories that have yet to be on paper.
Yeah.
And they haunt me forever. And like now with Fangtooth Bastards, I'll read it, so I'll go over it and read it. But with other stories, I'll think about a particular story when I'm mowing the lawn or I'm doing, and I'll just think of that one particular story, and it will develop. I have 2 screenplays in my head. That one is serious about machining and the aviation industry,
right?
And another one is a comedy, a mafia comedy.
See, you're talking about mafia again. I think you're from Sicily. I don't know.
Yeah, we're from Sicily. I told you, I might have mentioned this the last time. My grandfather was so honest that the judge said, "What do you do for a living, Mr. Rizzuti?" And he said, "I'm gonna sit on my ass like you." My grandmother fainted. She said, "I thought they were gonna arrest him." My grandfather was just a very honest man.
Yeah, but that's a good thing.
Yeah,
but going back to you what is it? You mowing the lawn and having the screenplays in your head. Like I can't tell you, I've written children's books when I'm washing my car. And you get excited and it makes your task go faster because you're getting excited. You're like, okay, this is what I want to talk about. This is what I want to do. And you just let the ideas dance.
That's one part of drive.
Yeah.
But then now get that on paper. And don't be upset if it's not coming out as good as it is in your head.
Yeah, because there's certain time.
It doesn't always play the same.
No.
And don't worry about, just write it. That's the one thing is like Hunter S. Thompson Gonzo.
Yeah.
Just write it out. And I keep little notes of, I wanted to mention this, I wanted to mention that. So if ever, I'll have that on the side and just get it out.
Oh yeah, I have little asterisks. You'll see, similar to you.
Yeah.
I'll write something and then I'll put a little asterisk and be like, this is what I want to talk about next.
Write a
and then
different
I
word
skip some
above,
lines or
right.
I'll do an arrow. My notes, you'd think I was schizophrenic or something if you saw my notes. You'd be like, wait, what? Am I handwriting? It actually, I'm righty, but I slant to the left. Yeah, I slant to the left, so
That's
it's
so funny.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah,
because
it's funny until you try to read it.
No, but it's okay because only you have to read it. What's so funny is here's the red line. I used to have a problem where I would go over to the right. And I had a 5th grade teacher who told me, Benny, just stay, every word, stay to that. So he taught me to keep it. But yeah, I used to, and if I don't have if I just have a regular pad, yeah, I could be without lines, not an unruled pad.
Oh yeah, I can't write on unruled paper. My lines are just, I can't even draw a straight line. To be fair.
Comedy is okay on that. I joke.
Yeah, if you do a scratch pad or you're okay, I want to take notes, I want to do that or whatever. I'll write when I write poetry, I'll write it. I won't write it. I'll just write it. It'll be a line here on one side. I'll write a line here, and then I'll be like, oh, that sounds pretty. Or I have in the back of my journals, I have lines that might sound good in another poem I might write, whenever.
Yeah, no, that's great though. And
Yeah.
sometimes one story will lead to another. That's why I'm telling you to write. And sometimes the vampire novel was in my head at the time. But before that, I did a practice, like you said, practice. I wrote a short story called Tanning with the Fat Man.
Okay.
Which is about when I went to Florida, and it's about how I met Santa Claus, who was retired and living in Florida, known as Nick, and he's retired. And that's why
Well,
some
don't
people
tell
who
all
say,
the kids now because they're getting
Well,
ready. They're getting geared up
no,
for
no,
Christmas.
but he still comes around. There's a way that Santa comes around, and he's still sitting on the beach getting a tan because he's magical.
Yeah,
I was sitting with him on the beach while this friend of mine was speaking with his wife, and they were walking around, and we were talking. And the next thing I knew, I was on a sleigh, and I was on a sleigh, and he took me over to the old neighborhoods when I was young.
Okay.
So Santa's very magical. He could still do it right from a beach chair, right from a lounge chair.
See, I'm just getting like flashbacks of Dumbledore with a Pensieve, and that's exactly what's happening. I'm just putting your face.
So
in.
anyway, that story, that was my practice, and I still have the story,
Right.
but I won't. You'll never read it. But I thought of going back to it and writing a different version.
Yeah.
Called "The Man Who Wasn't Santa Claus."
I mean,
about that person now getting the magic, not being like Tim Allen looking
Yeah,
at it, but
but-
just like he knows, wow, this family, they could use some help. This is, this one. So you think he's breaking into houses, but he's actually like fixing the window.
I think that's what it comes down to is that like when you're writing stories and everything, like there might be stories that you think are a really great idea at the time. Like I have a lot of television shows and I'm like, oh my God, I would love to like write the pilot for this. And then you just think, okay, well, I don't watch television or
Yeah,
I don't
right.
know the first thing about writing pilots. So like there may be stories that you write or that may never get written, but they just still let them dance in your head. Like still allow them to
That's
play
great.
in there
They
because I think
dance in,
that's but that's what they should do, and not like in a weird, crazy lunatic kind of way, but just
Right.
like let them play in your head. Let
I
those
got a
ideas.
cerebral tango going on right now.
A cerebral tango. I like that. See, I can be a thief. I'm gonna steal
You can
that
have
too.
that line.
But
I hate that though. We have to go.
Yes.
We're running over. I had so much fun again.
As always.
As always, I want to thank everybody who's watched us live or listening to us on the radio. We can't respond. I'll try to get to you. Sometimes people write things. We can't respond because then it would be rude to everyone if I was looking at my phone.
Yes,
and
yes.
We
But
don't
we
have
respond
anyone that
after-
can
we'll
do that.
respond after with the
Yeah,
comment
thank you. I
section.
want to thank everybody for watching.
yes, and Greg
I wanna-
Critcrose for coming on today.
Greg,
the,
yes.
The break a leg tonight.
That's it, Greg. In
And
5
buy
minutes.
my book. And buy my book.
Yes, buy Brianna. He will buy it now.
No, not Greg. I mean, no, not just Greg. Everybody that's watching
Yeah,
tonight.
buy
yeah.
Brianna's book. You'll love it. You won't be disappointed.
Yes.
The vivacious vixen herself. You can steal that.
I have to like think of something else because you just like I can't say anything after that because you're making me blush.
Aw, last week I made you teary eyed.
I know.
I make you blush.
I know.
I'll try to do that. Next week I'll get you mad at me.
No.
You can
No.
wheel
You
my
don't want
chair
to see
in.
that.
No, I don't.
My
Thank
mother's
you
over
all.
here shaking her head.
Thank you all. And thank you, Brianna's mom. I hope you enjoyed the show.
And thank you guys. We'll see you next week at Wednesday at 7 p.m. on Right to Speak.
Right to speak.